In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Zach Fernandez took his pop time from a 211 where he was stuck, frustrated, putting in the work, but still unable to break below a 2 flat, to hitting a 191, adding 6 miles an hour to his catcher velocity, and ultimately moving on to commit to play college baseball. This process did not include throwing weighted balls. He wasn't trying to piece together random drills he was finding on the internet, and we didn't even touch his lifting plan. Instead, we gave him a systematic understanding of how the throw actually works, specific to catchers, and then sufficient repetition to implement what he was learning. So if you stay to the end of this video, you'll learn exactly how we did this, and more importantly, if you think that this is something that could work for you. Now, before we go any further, this video is for one specific type of catcher. It's for the catcher that knows that they have more in the tank in terms of their throw. You've been putting in the work, you probably play for a solid club team, you've probably been to showcases and events, but your throw is just not where you think it could be. And hey, maybe you've tried different drills or tried to piece together cues that you're finding on YouTube or Instagram, but ultimately nothing has moved the needle for you yet, and you know you're still missing something. This video is for the catcher that understands that a well-developed throw will open more doors for us in our path to college baseball. More recruiting attention, more playing time, and most importantly, more of an ability to help our team win, which is what college coaches actually want. This video is for the catcher that is not willing to leave all of that to the limited amount of throwing attention that they're getting right now. If that is you, keep watching this video. It was made exactly for you. And if that's not you and you want to keep piecing things together, maybe you're earlier on in that developmental process, go ahead and click away from this video, watch some of the other content on my page, but this video is going to go much deeper. The real reason that Zach was able to take his pop time to a 191 at 6 miles an hour to his catcher velocity and ultimately go on to play college baseball, the same reason that guys like Nick are breaking below a 1.9 and guys like Anthony, who is a sophomore, very talented catcher putting up times in the low 1.8s, is not because they found some secret drill or did more in-person lessons. These guys were already extremely talented, but they were able to understand that their throw wasn't on par with the rest of their game, and that was the one piece that was holding them back. Because of this realization, they were able to go all in on the development of their throw, and that's why they're getting the results that they're getting. You see, most catchers train their throw in pieces. Maybe you're seeing an in-person coach once a week. Maybe your coach is giving you random cues like get your arm up or stay in your legs. But you've seen guys that throw better than you, and they're not relying on cues. They just move better than you. The truth is, the guys that aren't throwing as well as they could don't actually understand how the throw works and need to work a little bit harder to get themselves there. And that's what this video is all about. Here at Pro Point Catching, we break the throw to second base into 5 phases. This is what I call the throwing sequence, and you need to master it one phase at a time before you move on to the next. Phase 1 is essentially everything that happens before the ball hits our glove, so it's how we create momentum and direction into our throw using our lower half properly. Once the ball hits our glove, we get into phase 2, which is the transfer, rotation, and planting of the back foot in sync with the incoming pitch. Once that back foot hits, we get into the separation phase, which is the biggest phase for our velocity. So we're going to want to buy ourselves as much time as possible through the efficiency of the previous 2 phases. After we stretch that rubber band in phase 3 and the front foot hits, we get into phase 4, which is rotating into the front hip, tucking the front elbow, and a tight spiral of the arm as we work into release. And then we tie everything together with phase 5, which is the rhythm and timing, which allows us to not only deliver quick and accurate throws, but it allows us to have that killer instinct in game so we don't just look good in a showcase. Each phase is dependent on the one that comes before it, and you don't move into the next phase until you've mastered the one that you're in. That's what makes us different from anything else that you've tried, is the systematic approach to your throw. Because every catcher that comes into this program wants to play college baseball, we treat you guys like college athletes where the responsibility is on you, and we're giving you a taste of what it's going to look like when you move on to play. With that being said, we understand that most of you guys are in high school, so we have checks and balances in place so that you guys never fall behind. But again, the responsibility is on you. Before you even touch a drill progression in each phase, you're responsible for completing what we call learning modules. Any of the learning resources in this program, I want you to think about them like this. They are designed to teach you what are we working on, why is it important, and how do I apply it to my throw properly. So you need to spend as much time as you need studying studying those concepts. Once you have a good idea of what you're gonna do in that phase, you start working through your drill progressions. Every time you throw a baseball in this program, you're encouraged to record yourself. At worst, you study your own video. At best, you submit video to myself or one of the other coaches in this program for feedback and review. We're gonna tell you exactly what you're doing well, what you're doing wrong, and what you need to fix during your next throwing progression. You go back and implement what we told you, and then that whole process of you studying, practicing, and refining repeats. You can submit as much or as little video as you would like, and everybody's process is a little bit different. Every athlete has access to what we call office hours, where you can come in and chat with myself or one of the other coaches about anything that you're working on in this program or outside of the program. And every Sunday, you're responsible for completing a weekly check-in. These are gonna tell us exactly where you're at, exactly what you're working on, how you feel about the concepts, and how well you feel like you're implementing them. That's exactly how we stay on the same page with our athletes. There is no time limit on you to get through this program. The only way you graduate is when you hit your stated goals that you will set coming in, and when one of the coaches agrees that you've gotten there. For some guys, this could take 12 weeks. For others, this could take 6 months, but you're never gonna be rushed out. Ultimately, you advance through the phases when you prove that you're ready. So if you've made it this far in the video, let me show you exactly how I think about the throw and how I've built it into a program so that you can understand why your throw is where it is right now and what you can actually do about it. You need to think about your throw to second base as a sequence of events. Every single step in that sequence sets up the next ones. And if anything breaks down earlier in the sequence, we're going to compensate somewhere later in the sequence. That compensation or inefficiency in the way you move is what kills your exchange time, kills your velocity, and kills your ability to put up good pop times consistently. I'm sure you've had throws where everything felt like it was working perfect and you were moving effortlessly. But then you've had other throws where nothing is working in sync and you can't figure out why. Here's what I need you to understand. Every problem that you may face within your throw is a symptom of something happening earlier in the sequence. Whether it's slow times, not enough backspin, not enough power on your throw, we can always trace it back earlier in the sequence to find the root and actually fix it. So let's start with phase one of the throw. This is everything that happens before the ball hits our glove and probably the most important piece of your throw. Too often I see catchers create little or no direction with their lower half, and if they do, they severely overextend past their backside. How we teach phase one at Pro Point Catching is we want to drive our lead knee into the line of our throw because wherever that lead knee goes, our hips are going to follow. And when our hips are moving onto and through our line to second base, everything downstream in the throwing sequence becomes much easier and smoother. This phase alone can be responsible for a 0.1 or more drop in pop time when done properly. Not to mention slight velocity increases just because you're starting to use your lower half the right way. Once the ball hits our glove and the clock actually starts is when we get into our transfer, rotation, and planting of the back foot. Watch what happens when a catcher properly creates direction with their lower half before the ball hits their glove. Where are they able to catch that ball? Deep, close to the body, on an engaged backside. Because the momentum was already built with their lower half before the ball hit their glove, they don't have to break posture or reach with the upper half, and they can truly let the ball travel. That allows us to rotate with the incoming pitch, plant the back foot efficiently, which is ultimately going to buy us more time in phase three. Phase one and how it leads into phase two are almost entirely responsible for your exchange time. The number that we're aiming for in this section is a 0.6 exchange. That combined with about a 75 mile per hour throw is the formula for a 2 flat pop time. So everything that we do in phase two is working towards that number. Once the lower half is working properly, the transfer, rotation, and planting of the back foot is clean, we get into phase three, which is our separation phase. And because we're getting our back foot planted so efficiently, we now have more time to stretch that rubber band in this phase. The more separation and depth that we can get in this phase, the harder that we're going to get pulled through into our throw and the more velocity that we're going to create on our throws. Hopefully you're starting to see how all of the previous phases lead up to this phase. Once our separation is created and the front side hits the ground, we get into phase four, which is how we rotate into the front hip, tuck the lead elbow, and the spiral of the arm as we work towards release. Most catchers think that arm strength is an isolated arm issue, but if you don't create proper momentum before the ball hits your glove, if you don't rotate, transfer, and plant the back back foot efficiently and buy yourself time to create separation, then we're gonna over rely on our arm to create the velocity that we want. But when everything is done right, the only thing we need to do with our arm is maintain a tight spiral as we rotate into release in order to transfer all of that energy into a baseball efficiently. And then once we understand all of the phases of the throw and how they all work together, we focus on rhythm and timing and how to make the throwing sequence happen consistently and powerfully in a way that not only looks good at a showcase, but actually translates to games. And if you're at this point in the video, you probably like what I have to say, potentially think that this could work for you, but maybe you're wondering, who is this dude with the mustache that's trying to tell me how to throw a baseball specific to catchers? My name is Nick Zoris. I caught at the Division I level at Illinois State, led my team to a conference championship, a regional at the University of Louisville. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was throwing 88 miles an hour from the crouch, and I've always been obsessed with the throw for catchers because I knew that it would open doors for me in my path to Division I baseball. I knew that every catcher that I was competing against could receive well, could block well, could hit well, but my ability to throw was the one piece that could actually set me apart from these guys. After my playing days ended, that obsession with the throw never went away.
Go, Zers, come on, let's go.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
94.6.
And now I work with you guys, the guys that are in the pursuit of that next level of your career and understand the importance of your throw. We've worked with over 250 catchers in this program. We have a growing list of catchers that have decreased their pop time by 0.1 or more, increased their throwing velocity by 2 to 5 miles per hour in this program, and a growing list of over 60 catchers that have gone on to play college baseball or commit to play college baseball, with plenty more in the pipeline that will. The reason that guys like Jackson are putting up times like a 194 at a Yale showcase, the reason that international athletes like Cruz from the Philippines finally broke below a 2 flat and greatly increased his chances to come play baseball here in the United States, and the reason that guys like Jax PR'd at a 186 and went on shortly after to commit to play baseball at Arizona State is not because these guys were outliers. These guys were already solid catchers, and this is exactly what happens when a catcher who is actually willing to put in the work has the right system to put the work into. So here's where we're at. If you're at this point of the video, if you even found this video, you found it for a reason, and you know that you need help. You already know how important your throw is, and you already know that you have more in there that you're not tapping into. Maybe you've known it for a while, but the question right now is, what are you actually gonna do about it? Are you actually serious about your goals of college baseball? Or is it more of, hey, this would be a nice thing to have, but I'm not sure if it's actually for me? You can try to keep piecing your throw together on your own, and you actually can do that. If you spent the time and dug through my YouTube channel and put in the reps, you could get there. Or you could understand that the recruiting landscape right now is very competitive, and you can come through a proven system to speed up that process. The difference between where you are right now and where guys like Zach, who decreased his pop time to a 191 from a 211, added 6 miles an hour to his velocity, went on to commit to play college baseball. The difference between a guy like that and where you are right now is not more effort, it's not more exposure, it's a system that you can actually commit to. One that you can trust will get you the results that you want, contingent on you putting in the work. So if you're ready to find out if the Drop Your Pop Time program or will help you decrease your pop time by 0.1 or more, add 2 to 5 miles an hour to your catcher velocity, and ultimately build a throw that not only helps you get recruited, but perform once you get to that next level, you can reply back to me on Instagram and let me know that you made it to the end of this video, and I can walk you through exactly where we would go from here. Now, there is no pressure, and I'm not even sure if you're a good fit for this program. So we'll need to have a real conversation first so that I can understand where you are right now, where you want to go, and if I think I can actually help you get there. See you on the other side.